For all you groundhoppers out there, this podcast is for you.
You should never go back. That's how I always say that. I mean, it's weird. And Keith, I mean, me and Jake, we went to the Leyton Orient game at the back end of last year, and it was frustrating because the quality of football for both teams. You think Leyton Orient had Kenny Jackett, and of course he knows how to get teams out of the league. He's done it before, and the quality of football just wasn't there. And I don't know, Keith Hill, he hasn't really done. I know with Bolton he struggled. He's not really, he's renowned for quite a defensive coach. Were you kind of surprised when they appointed him?
At the time, I thought it was a good appointment. I think that the way we were playing, because obviously the weeks before, last season was a bit of a drag as such. Didn't start off very well. Obviously behind closed doors, we were conceding a lot of goals. The football, the quality just wasn't there. The players over time, the quality from, I guess, if you go back, I think it's been about 5 years now, when we had Dwayne Holmes, Josh Morris, that kind of team, which was going for the championship. Over time, gradually, that the players that have come in maybe haven't been to I guess a level that what we were used to. But I think this season, there was talk whether obviously Neil Cox should have gone in the summer and got a new manager in because of the struggles of last season. We brought in a few key players to keep us up last season. So like Jem Karachan came in, Mark Howard, Junior Brown. These players came in, just brought a bit of experience because it's a very young squad that we had, and it was even younger this season. And I think this season just never got going. And we lost 6-1 to Harrogate.
Yeah.
And I think the atmosphere around the place, people weren't happy with the chairman, some people weren't happy with the manager, some people weren't happy with the players. So there was a becoming a divide. And I think Keith Hill kind of, with his experience, seemed was a good appointment because he could maybe get the better out of these young players, could provide a bit of experience, and he said that he's staying next season, which I think is a good thing for going into that division, because he's obviously a well-established League Two manager. Having him, and he talks about having football sort of philosophy and everything in place, and so I think it's a good appointment. I think we've gone through so many managers. I think we need a bit of stability, and I think that's where I think we're at now. I think we just need a bit of stability, a bit of, I guess, of someone in charge having the ability to over time bring in and establish what they want. Because I think we've had managers come in, bring the players, leave, and then a new manager comes in, wants different players. So you end up with all these players around, and they're either not happy or maybe want to move, maybe not putting in the effort or what. But it kind of became a bit of a mixture of certain managers, players in the team, rather than one. Like, I guess if you look at the top level, over time, stick with a manager, let them recruit who they want, or see who, and over time develop a team that. I think some of the teams now in League Two that are going up, they've been, I guess, a team and together for quite some time, and they've obviously, Forest Green is exactly that. If you work at it for over time, eventually it starts to click, it starts to work, and you see Forest Green, and they were I think one of the best teams that I've seen in the league. So. But yeah, I think hopefully over time, if we can stick with him, and obviously it's a massive summer for us to bring in players and have a good pre-season and give it a good go, because it's not going to be easy, and we need to obviously have a bit of stability. I think because we are in a bit of free fall from League One playoffs to the National League. I think we do need to almost hit that sort of level out period, rebuild, because obviously National League's so hard, like Chesterfield, there's Notts County, Stockport have been down there for a long time. They've only just got out of it. You think, you need to, you don't want to go the other way again and go further, which is obviously a worry, because the mentality of the place just needs to change, and I think he can probably change that over time, I think.
Do you think that's why Scunthorpe have gone down? Touching on what you said there about changing managers and you've almost got like a mixed squad. Do you think that's why they've gone down? Essentially,
there's been a lot of changes. A lot of it is said about the management changes, and I think when you look at it as a whole, it probably is quite harmful for the progression, because obviously when we sacked Graham Alexander, I think we were in the playoff places of League One. So. And then after that, we've kind of gone through managers. I would try and list them, but I think there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of people trying to implement what they want to do and bring in players, and there's never that kind of, you maybe need a few months to really get something going, get on the training pitch, getting your tactics, how you want to play, your system. I think it's just kind of, if the going gets difficult, managers just seem to get it, or someone else will come in and probably do a better job. And I think it has probably harmed us, especially because this season, obviously, we were competing in the playoffs. I think that was a year we sacked Graham Alexander, and then obviously the years after that, we've just been in a bit of a decline. So it could be pointed down to that, but obviously over time managers want certain players. Obviously there's the financial, how much that player will cost, and over time. So I think obviously that's impacted us financially. The number of players and the amount of turnover probably has hurt us of who we then can recruit. So obviously when you're at the bottom of League Two, your transfer windows become harder, because players maybe are holding out for maybe a better move, and obviously eventually players may not be up for the fight of relegation. So you kind of have this over time. But I would probably say that the management changes haven't been ideal for us, and that's why I think we just need a bit of stability, someone just to level us out and have a go at going back to the Football League. So obviously it's all unknown. Who knows what's around the corner? But I think he speaks well. Keith Hill, he always seems optimistic and positive. So and he's obviously had to work with again another manager's players, and obviously he's not afraid to play youth team players, which I think is actually good for development, especially for next season, when get them a few months of league experience. And when we played Hartlepool last home game, Cameron Wilson on loan at Scarborough, he's not really been in the first team, scores. And you think I think we've only scored like 26 goals in the league all season, and you think he's come back and scored a very decent goal. And I think it's like that. So I think we just need to get over a period, just develop these players that are coming through and try and keep hold of them and build something. And we just need a bit of stability. That's all I think. I think it's all very rash sometimes. Like, managers come in and go in, and the football changes and the tactics change, and you can't, sometimes as a fan you can't really keep up. But yeah, we just need a bit of stability. I think what's been has been. We just have to focus on what's ahead, the National League, and rebuild, and hopefully, over time it'll all come together. Because we look at teams like Lincoln. I used them as an example. They went down. Look at them now. They're selling out the stadium. They're in League One. And that's the kind of, use that as an example of, it might be difficult for a few years, but if you get it right over a period of time, a bit of stability, you can rise back up again. And obviously with the momentum, who knows if you might end up back in League One. But I think realistically, I think stability, and I think it's I think Keith Hill is probably going to be key, and obviously, what will be I guess in that.
I feel your pain, like I've been with this season with Rovers, so I do feel your pain with constant changes as managers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's one of those where you think you look at, you're right, you need a bit of stability in the football club. I mean, I take Mansfield for example. They've had stability with Nigel Clough now for a few years. He's brought in these players, and now look at them, they're in the League Two playoff final. And they're potentially, they could potentially, there he is, cheering away. But the one thing that Mansfield and I kind of envy a little bit is that they've got it right. They've brought in the very experienced head who knows the Football League well.
Yeah.
Brought in his players. And you're right, there's it's the same with Rovers where, we got rid of Darren Moore goes to Sheffield Wednesday. We're bringing Andy Butler. He's basically having to work with Darren Moore's players. His players don't want to play for him. Richie Wellens comes in. He brings his players. He gets sacked after 2 months. Bringing Gary McSheffrey. He's not really done much, but like you say, you're right. This is a massive summer. And the teams that have come down, say from League One, League Two, and they're having to rebuild, it's a massive summer because players, you're right, they want to be holding out for a better move somewhere higher up in League One, or so, a team that's fighting in League Two or a team that's fighting in the National League to get up. So you're absolutely spot on. I think with Scunny, it's interesting because the players, I think the team ethic, I think it needs to be boosted up, like you say. But as well, I think when you look at the stadium as well, it's like it's one of the most, it's one of the most, it's the original ground, newest ground that it was in England at the time. I do think it needs a bit of a facelift. Is that kind of something that it needs to be done with the ground as well?
Yeah, there is development, I guess, planned to develop it. It's been going on for a few years, but yeah, the ground does seem, I guess, it does need a little bit of, I guess, for the time being, a little bit of like tidying, like a bit of just needs some like a lick of paint, or because like the scoreboard doesn't work now, and things like that. Like it just it just needs like you say, just obviously when you guys went, probably it does look a bit tired, and obviously it will, because obviously I think it's like testing my maths, but it was built in like 1988, so it's going to be over time. It's going to start to, compared to other grounds you go to, like Keepmoat or whatever, it just starts to look a little bit dated. And we've got, I think with the ground as well, like it could be used it's such a tight, narrow pitch. The fans are on top of you. I've played on that pitch before, and you can't believe how close the stands are. They were empty when I played, but you can picture how close, and like how close people are, and it can be quite a difficult. I think Championship players before have said how difficult Glanford Park was, because yes, Scunthorpe's not a big club, but the ground is horrible to play in, and it can be. But I think it just does look a bit dated. I think there's development that's going to happen. So maybe it's been held off for the new stands, new stadium, what's planned. But for the time being, I guess over the years that it's not happened yet. The ground's starting to take a little bit of aging, and it looks a bit dated. But
yeah, a new stadium, wasn't there? Like
there was. We was meant to move to a completely new stadium that fell through, there's a lot going on, I think, about that, which I'll leave for here. But yeah, it's a strange time. Over the last few, I guess, the games that you go to this season, there's a different atmosphere. It feels quite. Some games has been quite like a toxic atmosphere, especially towards, I guess, relegation. Obviously, with those protests in a couple of the games, tennis balls got thrown on the pitch, and it all seemed quite. Is this the place that I came as like a 7-year-old and like and like, wow, this play, like it kind of, the ground, the tendencies are dropping, and it kind of just feels like it's, I think it's just the experience of going. Sometimes you just kind of feel the ground. It's suitable for the level we're at. I think if we went any higher, if we was competing in the championship, I would say a new stage. I think you have to make it all seater. But I think for the level now we're at now, it can cope with National League football, and just needs freshening up and just giving that kind of positive experience of going. But we'll see, I guess, for the future what the ground will be like over the next few years, with obviously the level we're at now, the financial situation and things like that. So I have to see, but hopefully come next season it'll maybe freshen it up and fresh start, and it clean the seats, I don't know, and things like that. But we'll see about that.